Hi, welcome to Glow's Kinder Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Well, tonight we were trying to decide what to make for dinner, and I decided to make a recipe out of a cookbook that I have. I haven't made this recipe in a while, but it is absolutely delicious. This is the name of the cookbook, Colorado Kush Cookbook, and the recipe we're making tonight is called Pedro's Delight. This is right after Thanksgiving. We were kind of done with turkey for a few days, and I ran across this and I thought, you know what, I haven't made this in a while, so let's do it. I had everything on hand. So I have my pan here starting to preheat a little bit, and this is a Mexican dish, and it calls for 1 pound of ground beef. This is 80-20. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And I kind of like to break it up as I'm putting it in. And I have my pan on 4. I'll probably raise it a little bit as it's going. I just started it heating, so. And I like the 80-20 blend for dishes like this. It doesn't have a lot of fat, but you do need some of that for flavor. This is really nice ground beef that I got. So we're going to go ahead and let that, as soon as I start to hear that sizzle, I'm going to go on with the rest of the recipe. But let me rinse my hands off here. I always have a sink full of warm, sudsy water to help me keep my hands clean and to put dishes in to soak. Just makes cleanup much better and also keeps everything clean. So this recipe calls for the 1 pound of ground beef, which I have there. 1 large onion diced, which is right here. And I prepare everything ahead of time. It just makes life much simpler when you're cooking. The recipe does not call for garlic, but we like garlic. So I have 2 cloves here that I smashed and diced up really nice. It calls for 8 ounces of green chilies. I prefer the Hatch brand from New Mexico. There's something, here's a can I left out so you guys can see it. This is a 4-ounce can, but it calls for 8 ounces, so I have 2 cans. There's something about the soil in New Mexico and in southern Colorado that makes these chilies delicious. It also calls for 3.5 cups of tomatoes. And I can these tomatoes, so that's what I'll be using. And it calls for heavy whipping cream. Well, I didn't have whipping cream, but I do have half and half, so that's what I'm going to use. And it says to put in 1 tablespoon of white vinegar so it sours it, kind of like sour cream. And tortilla chips. So I have these tortilla chips. It calls for a 10-ounce bag, and you put that in the bottom of your casserole dish, because after I get this all prepped and ready to go, this is going to go on a casserole dish, and we're going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees for half an hour, and then your dinner's done. And it also calls for cheese, Monterrey Jack cheese. It's a mild cheese, and it has a nice nutty flavor to it. It's delicious.
What's that, Cabot's?
Yes, which is a very good brand for cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and just stir this. You can see that it's starting to cook. So next step is I'm going to put these onions in that I diced up.
That was how many onions, Miss Glow?
1 large onion.
1 large.
And this is a yellow onion.
Yellow.
But you could use whatever onion you have on hand. I think it would be fine.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and put that over here. Get rid of this plate. So the reason I didn't put the garlic in right away is garlic, if you cook it in the beginning with everything, it tends to get bitter, and you don't want that in a dish like this. So I'm going to go ahead and let this continue. I'm going to turn it up to medium, and I'll be back with you in just a little bit. I wanted to show you how our ground beef and onion is coming along here. See how there's just a little bit of pink still left on the meat? So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add this garlic. That way it won't get bitter on us. I'm just going to stir it up a little and let it continue to cook. And this will be cooking probably about 3-4 more minutes. It takes a total of probably 7 minutes to get this done. And then we'll add the rest of the stuff. We'll be back in a moment. Hi, our ground beef is almost done. And I just wanted to let you see how I do this. I'm going to go ahead and add the Hatch's green chilies here. And they're not a hot chili at all. They have wonderful flavor to them. If you've never tried them, if you find them in the store, by all means get them. They are delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of stir that up. Oh, I wish we had smell-o-vision. This just smells so good.
It does smell really good, Miss Chloe.
Yeah, it's really good. And I did not drain this ground beef. It calls for you not to drain it. So, and then I'm going to add my tomatoes. These tomatoes are super, super ripe. I usually wait till towards the end of the season to do it, and I have been so pleased with these tomatoes. I did them up in September. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in. See how red they are? And they're
very
plum
red,
tomatoes.
Miss Chloe.
I'm going to go ahead and add the rest. So it's about 3½ cups of tomatoes. That smells really yummy. So we're going to go ahead and let this, start cooking, and everything gets happy together. And I'll be back with you in just a little bit. Well, this has been cooking for an additional probably 7 minutes or so, and you can tell it's all nice and bubbly, and it's all very happy together here. And so now what I did is I went ahead and put my tortilla chips in my dish. I did not butter my dish. It doesn't call for that. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting some of this into here. And you just pour it over the top. And you bake this uncovered for half an hour at 350 degrees. You can actually make this ahead of time and put it in the refrigerator. And let me put this over here. And put it in the oven. If you do it that way, though, plan on about an additional 15 minutes because of it being cold in the oven. Oh, it smells so good.
It does. Smells divine.
Go ahead and smooth it out all over. Yummy, yummy. And there's no salt added to this. The tortilla chips, of course, have salt. So, and then, of course, your cheese has some salt as well. So the next step is you take your cheese, and I always grate my own cheese. I don't buy it pre-grated because they put something on the outside of it. I forgot what it's called, so it doesn't clump up. But with that being done, your cheese doesn't melt real well, and it actually takes on a different texture and I think flavor. And that's just something I don't really care for.
How much cheese is that, Miss Chloe?
8 ounces.
8 ounces, okay.
So you just kind of disperse it evenly over it. You can see it's already starting to melt on it. And if you don't have that particular type of cheese, you could use cheddar cheese or something too. Don't feel like you have to go out to the store just to get that. So now I'm going to go ahead. This is 1 cup of half and half. It does call for the heavy whipping cream, but there you go. I didn't have it, so I'm just going to make do with this. And I'm sure it'll be just fine. And it had 1 tablespoon of white vinegar in it to sour it. Okay, that's it. So now this is just going to go into my oven. It's preheated to 350 degrees, and we'll see you in half an hour. All right, well, we just took this out of the oven, and I got to tell you guys, it smells wonderful. We're really looking forward to having this for dinner. So after it cools for just a couple more minutes, we will sample it for you. I'll be right back. Well, it's been cooling now for probably about 5-7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. We're going to see what this looks like.
Looks good to me, Miss Glow.
If it's as good as it smells, I just remember how good this is. Oh, look at that, you guys.
Looks good.
You smell the corn from the corn tortillas that are on the bottom, the tortilla chips. You can smell those green chilies. Oh, smells like Colorado.
And it's a change.
Oh, and Lucy wants some
change
too.
from turkey.
Well, I'm going to take a bite of it and I get some cheese and oh, it smells so good. Oh, you know what? This just takes me back to Colorado and New Mexico. This is delicious. You can smell and taste the tortilla chips, the corn in it just comes through, the hatch green chilies. If you guys can find those for this recipe, by all means do. It's not spicy at all. It's just delicious.
Where did you find them, Miss Glow?
These I got here in town. I think it was at Harris Teeter. And they're pricey if you find them on the East Coast here. I was very fortunate. I have 2 friends that went out hunting just last month, actually, in October to New Mexico. And they were hunting for elk. And they brought back some hatch green chilies for me. Several. And I'm just so thankful for that because they're hard to find here. So they have set me up for a year or 2 with hatch green chilies. So thank you, Tim Tucker, and thank you, Dave Segal. So anyway, I can't say enough about this recipe. The tomatoes and everything are just so good with this. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you would please like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already subscribed. And if you've enjoyed it, please share with your friends and family. I hope you have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you later. I wish you were here for dinner with us. Bye.